Okay, I think we're good to go. Digesting that film, a lot of good stuff, really in all three phases. Defensively, I thought they played aggressive, wanted to contest, and that showed up. Got around the quarterback a little bit. Was really pleased, obviously, with taking the ball away 3 times. Made a difference in the game, like we talked about after. Offensively, found some balance. I thought Chance was pretty efficient with the ball. Really, hurt ourselves with some penalties offensively that kept us out of the end zone a couple of times. And then, not a bunch of work special teams-wise. There wasn't a bunch of plays there. Actually gave Chance a little bit of a hard time on the punt. The one time we punt, the guy kicks it through the end zone. But outside of that, really pleased for the group. Worked hard for that win. Did think the crowd made a difference, and it was a great night that way. But always on to the next, and we got a real challenge coming up this Saturday against a good football team. Arizona State finding ways to win a lot of games, and they can do it on both sides. Defensively, physical, stout, good senior-ridden, a lot of veterans on that group. Played a lot of football. Offensively, starts with the quarterback, especially in the run game. You got to have an answer for them. They got a good physical O-line. The back's good player, and they got some talent on the outside to throw it to. So, and you see it statistically in this league after 10 games where those guys stand on offense and defense. So, big-time challenge. Going to need the crowd again. Excited about being the last home game for a lot of guys on this team, and hopefully playing well enough to earn a victory.
In regard to the defense, obviously Stanford's struggling on offense. How did you evaluate how your defense played, given that you don't want to fool yourself into thinking you were better than you were, just given who you were playing? What did you see?
Yeah, there's no question Stanford's been dealing with some injuries on that side of the ball, in particular at quarterback. At the same time, defensively they were where they needed to be, sound in their assignments, and tackled well. Played aggressive, so there's a positive there. But each opponent you play is going to have a different personnel set, which we're definitely going to see this Saturday.
What did you feel like was most improved on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I thought on the secondary end, contesting, playing a little bit more aggressive man coverage some of the time. And I thought they played well in the run game because they're playing with a wildcat quarterback some of the time, and they needed to be a part of the run fits, and they did a good job of that.
The third down defense was better. Was it just a matter of first and second down were better, so third down was better?
I think some of that.
Did you feel like you did something different on third?
I think a couple. One, they were in a little bit longer down in distance because we were better on first and second down. I thought, we put together a couple pressures that affected the quarterback, and he needed to get the ball out a little bit sooner. And then I go back to this coverage was tighter.
Then one more defensive question. How do you feel like your run defense is right now, given that you're playing against probably one of the better run games in the league?
I think that we're going to need to play well on Saturday. This run game for Arizona State, you can see it last weekend, the way they ran the ball. And again, they're physical, athletic, but also the scheme makes it hard. They're running multiple schemes, types of runs, and the quarterback's a factor in it, so it's a real challenge.
EJ crossed the 1,000-yard mark this week. What does that say about his patience, being a guy who, for most of his career was a backup, but now to take advantage of the opportunity he's gotten this year?
Yeah, he's definitely played well this year, and he'd be one of the first to tell you he's got some help around him, O-line, tight ends, and things. I do give him a lot of credit and respect for, like you mentioned, being patient from when he arrived here, continued to work hard, didn't see a bunch of carries, had some guys in front of him, and that's not always easy, but he kept plugging away, and he's reaping the benefit of it right now.
After such a big win for this program on Saturday, you mentioned it, 6 was the first of many goals. How do you kind of get the guys to come down to earth a little bit? Because before you guys go to wherever bowl game, there's still a lot of football left.
Yeah. They definitely enjoyed the victory Saturday night and celebrated amongst themselves. I did feel like coming back yesterday with the team, talking about we have so much football in front of us, meaningful games. This is what we wanted to do, to play meaningful games in November. And so I think these guys will be back to work starting tomorrow and practice, knowing we got a serious challenge. And I think they're going to be excited to play one more time in Reser. with the crowd, the success we've had at home, they'll be fired up about it.
What's the tough thing about going against a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, who could not only throw but use his feet a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it starts a little bit discipline because you got to account for him, like I'm saying, in the run game. But even then, when you account for him and you got a guy to be able to make a tackle, you got to be able to make the tackle. This guy's elusive. He breaks tackles. He can run, and he can hurt you with his arm. I mean, they've got some real weapons on the outside. So he's the complete deal when it comes to quarterback play.
As far as Saturday's game goes offensively, do you feel like you got what you wanted out of it as far as limiting those missed opportunities and leaving points and yards on the board?
I mean, we scored enough, and what we did, took care of the ball, didn't give it away. That was awesome. I think we had some real balance in the run and pass game. The limiting factor was our penalty, and we got to tighten up that. I think we had 3 holding calls in the first half that more or less stalled drives out, so we want to improve on that. Did you sense any tension or anxiety among your guys these last couple of weeks, being on the cusp of that 6th win? Right. I understand the question. I really didn't. These guys have been working, competed in those games, didn't play as well as we could in those 2 games. So whether it's the relief of getting to 6 or whatnot, I know we're there now, and I'm hoping these guys will let it rip on Saturday. I was going to say, do you feel like getting past that 6 win will let your guys play more freely, more loosely? I hope so. I mean, again, I didn't see like they weren't before, but if that was the case, I hope they do come out with some freedom and again, excited to let it all hang out.
You mentioned Saturday night that you thought Brian called a good game. After you've seen video, what do you think? 24.
Yeah, I think it's just okay, to be honest with you. I was watching the video. No, he's done a good job throughout the year. And again, it's just not him. He's got a great group he works with. But I felt like he put Chance in some good situations. Let him use his feet a little bit, completion plays, took a few shots, didn't hit them all, and so he had a nice mixture there. I don't think it's easy when you got 3 backs that really could command more carries than they're getting to keep them fresh and the mix of the outside run to inside run, play action pass. We got the movement behind the line of scrimmage with fly sweep or receiver stuff going. So it was a well-called, well-planned game.
So feel free to come over the podium at me on this one, but the 4th and 1 call where you...
When we got it, we gave it to Coletto and
No, where you didn't have Coletto in the game and he didn't punt and you had a chance to put them back in the game.
Oh, yeah.
What were you thinking there?
So you look at the 3rd down play, they actually called it like we got it. And so that was a little bit the thinking. And then, okay, we're going to go to review this. And if we were going to be called short, it was going to be barely short. And, some of that, you possess the ball. There's an analytic piece of that where they look at 4th and 1 conversion rates across the country in the middle of the field, over 75, 80%. Feeling confident where we were running the ball. And we talked to our team about this thing. We talked to them like there's going to be some times we are going to try to go get it on 4th down. And, yeah, defense, you got to respond. And so I just felt like, at that moment, let's go get it.
With Jack, he's 7 for 7 in that situation against Stanford over 2 years. Why?
Yeah, Tuesday you get Brian? Or, yeah, you ask Brian on that one. Yeah, I'm with you a little bit on that.
A couple of receiver questions. Lindsey didn't play.
He just wasn't healthy and didn't practice. He really didn't practice. He's dealing with a slight shoulder thing that we're hopeful for this weekend.
Harrison's really seemed to pick it up here of late. He had a pretty good game Saturday, and I mean, are you seeing something from him that getting him more involved?
I think he's progressing. He's good with the ball getting in his hands. He's had some success on, kind of receiver screen type against Colorado. He had the nice hit. And he's been working at his game and his craft, understanding multiple roles offensively, not just one position. And he's run into it just like a lot of those receivers. We felt like going into the year we had multiple guys, and it's played out that way. And he's definitely stepped up the last couple of weeks because the ball's come his way.
And then on the flip side, Zariah, he's hit 2 catches last 5 games. Is he not playing much? He's not getting open? Are you not looking at him? Is there any...
I think a part of that is the fact that there's just going to be limited amount. I mean, the amount of times we're throwing it, there's going to be less targets for for really all the guys. Tight ends are going to be included in that. We're not down on him, and we're going to continue to. He played quite a bit amount of snaps, targets a little bit less because of the amount of times we're throwing it, and I expect him to step up over the next couple of weeks if the ball's going his way.
With Senior Day coming up this week, a couple of guys will be recognized, have been here for a long time, been through a lot. Anjay and Trevon in particular. How important have those guys been to this program, being at rock bottom and now making it all the way to bowl eligibility?
You mentioned two of them, but really favorites on this team, Bradford, Anjay, Hughes, Murray, been through a lot, overcome a lot injury-wise for both of them throughout their careers, coaching changes, different schemes, obviously some just tough defeats and kept battling, couldn't be more. It's kind of like I mentioned even in this game on Saturday, Bradford gets us with a huge play on the first drive of the second half. Anjay's doing his job and is around the ball, running to it, and those guys have been huge leaders for us, really the last few years.
The Fiesta Bowl team is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this week. What's that going to mean for you?
Fun. I mean, it would be great to see a lot of those guys. I know there's a function Friday night. I'll be able to see a few of them quickly. Coaches included coming back and celebrating that. I think we got the uniforms for it. Should be a lot of fun and meaningful relationships with those guys. Memories of wins, but locker rooms and times in downtown Corvallis.
And a win this week would make you undefeated at home this season, 6-0. What do you think that would mean to the team and the fan base?
Yeah, I mean, huge, because we've talked about it, this place being a home field advantage. We've taken advantage of it for the first five, played well. We're going to need to do it again against these guys. This is as good a challenge as we've seen at our place. But you want to. If you want to have the type of seasons that we want to have around here, you got to play well at home and win. And so we're hoping to do it again.
Jonathan, Arizona State defensively, their numbers speak to how good they are. What shows up on film about how they play and how they challenge you?
They play a sound scheme that they're not trying to fool you totally. I mean, these guys line up. You kind of have a decent idea what coverage and front they're going to be in. But they do their job really well. Physical, tough to good tackling because they're athletic out there. Don't miss a bunch of those. And they play aggressive style going after the ball. Can create havoc for the quarterback with just four-man rush. As good a linebacker core as there is as a group in the league. So they got talent, they got scheme that they got a real belief in, and it makes it tough.
And on the other side, you've already touched on it a little bit, but Rashad White right now is just running crazily.
Yeah.
And he really had two great games in a row, right?
Yeah, the back's a good player. Tough to tackle. Again, I go back to the scheme is multiple and how they're trying to run the ball. The quarterback's a factor of it. They're committed to running the ball, and they've had some real success. Guy breaks tackles. He makes you miss. He's tough to catch from behind. He's got that kind of speed, and so he's one of the better backs in this league.
We have anything